Guys, they finally did it. They finally pulled the trigger. They gave you an activity where you can farm out both Ascendant alloys and shards from one activity, and it actually rewards you for your efforts. I truly cannot believe we're finally here. Jokes aside, though, I do want to make this as a little PSA video to talk about the coil activity in the game added for Season of the Wish. First of all, I think the coil is a banger. It's a great activity. It kind of combines the elements of like deep dives and the previous activity we had this season with Altars of Summoning and puts it into one, minus the boring parts where you're just standing around in deep dives. This is a huge activity with multi-layers to it. You do multiple boss fights. In normal runs, you do 3. We'll get to the past 3 portion of this in a second. But I just want to go over why this is important for people to know. And it has to do with the rewards. So I'm going to just fast forward to a clip here just to show you guys what I'm talking about.
I got a alloy and 2 shards and 2 red borders from that middle chest.
So this final room, this is just a snippet of one run. This final room, if you achieve it during a heroic run, that's why I'm dubbing it anyway, heroic coil, you will get just absolutely showered with rewards. Just in one run, one single run, my teammate was able to get 2 alloys, 2 shards, 2 red borders, a bunch of regular weapons and armor, and then some enhancement cores, all for just completing one single run where your efforts to complete this run were greatly rewarded, and it should be. So how do you achieve getting to this final room? Well, let's talk about the coil for that. The coil activity normally is on a 3-set rotation where you do traversal sections, you go into a boss room, kill the boss, go to Riven, and rinse repeat for a 3 cycle for 3 bosses, and then you're done normally and you get all your rewards. Now, the difference in this is going to be the scoring system added on the bottom right. You may have noticed it already. The scoring system is what allows you to get to a heroic run of this activity, and then if you complete that heroic run, then you get a portal next to Riven at the end, and you go inside the portal, which will take you to this final room with all of the chests and all the juicy rewards. So let's talk about the scoring system. It's actually not just about killing enemies and getting a high score through that. It's a little bit more complex in this activity. So what you have to be doing is paying attention in between your boss fights in these traversal sections, the pathways of Riven, and you have to be on the lookout for glowing pots on the ground in little nooks and crannies. These pots can be shot with a weapon, and then they give you a bunch of shards just like you got at the beginning next to Riven. These can give you 100 points for white shards and 500 points for red shards, I believe, overall. And then also these have a side effect of you can get a certain threshold of points through these, and then you can see that there's little doors hidden in every traversal encounter, so like the poison gas, the pervading darkness, etc. You can find these chests with the wombo detector on your ghost, by the way. Open the door when you have a score threshold high enough for it. There'll be 2 chests inside, and I believe like 5 pots to break as well. You break the pots to get all the points, and then one of the chests is a trap that'll kill you, and one is not. The one that's going to kill you is the one with the spikes under it on the ground, in case you guys didn't notice. And then you just open the correct one, you will get more points from that, and you will get either a weapon or an armor piece, or maybe sometimes 2 of these, and you can get a red border from these chests as well. Now, that's not the only way to get points in this activity. You do get shards occasionally from enemies from like orange bars and yellow bars, powerful combatants, so be on the lookout for that as well when you kill those. But there's one major plot point that a lot of people are not mentioning for this activity that will help a lot of people greatly. There's an enemy in this activity called the Glass Collector. It's not a guarantee spawn from what I've seen and what I've played, but you should be on the lookout for this enemy because he gives a massive, whopping 25,000 points if you defeat this enemy. I personally was behind when my teammates saw this enemy in the encounter, but they sent me their footage, so I'm going to play for you guys here just so you can see. So that's what you want to look out for in terms of what the Glass Collector looks like, but I do want to state that it's not always the same enemy. For example, I've run into a Taken Glass Collector, and I've run into Vex Glass Collectors before, so there's at least 2 variants of it. I believe the Vex one is a Minotaur, just to, I guess, help in that cause. But what I'm saying is, be on the lookout during these traversal sections, no matter what, to find this Glass Collector, because 25,000 points is a F-ton. It's a fourth of the way there to a 100k threshold. Also, one more thing on that subject, it's not a fixed spawn, meaning you can find it in the first traversal section or you can find it in the 3rd traversal section, so just make sure you're looking each time. So, between your pots, chests, glass collectors, and whatever you get throughout the encounters, and then heading to Riven, I believe you need a 100,000 threshold in order to do the heroic run, and then get the portal at Riven at the end, which will take you to the final room and give you all the schloot over there. I've had runs where I've gotten about 70k maybe with LFG, and have not gotten the portal to spawn in, so I believe it's probably 100,000. If you've gotten the portal to spawn under 100,000, please let me know in the comments, just so I know for the future. But overall, I think if you get 100k, you're pretty safe. Obviously, you should push for as much as you can. For example, my team has pushed into upwards, I think, of 160,000, and every time we've gotten a stupid high score like that, we've gotten the portal to spawn in each and every time, so it's definitely a guarantee at some threshold, one way or the other. Lastly, I do want to go over quickly about loadouts for this activity. I want to just be straightforward and say, don't try to do any haha funny builds if you're trying to go for these big heroic runs every time. For example, like, don't bring in Mechaneer Trick Slaves with double sidearms, because the difficulty will scale gradually. Like I mentioned, the enemies will increase, they will do more damage, they will be more tanky, and you don't want to be there for an hour. So I would highly suggest optimizing your builds, whether you're going in solo or with a team, and be on the proper stuff. Like, for example, Hunters, be on Tether. Tether is huge on some of these boss fights. Or you could rock Assassin's Cow / Star Eaters on an Arc Hunter with 1-2 punch. Warlocks, of course, you have Well of Radiance. You know, when don't you have Well of Radiance, right? And then Titans, you can still use Bonk, even though it was nerfed, you could still use it. Or you could use the insane Banner of War, which is probably the best damage output for a Titan on this activity, just to slam through everything with 1-2 punch Banner of War. And of course, try to unlock your artifact perks, as well as do these season challenges, because they matter in the end for some things like Red Borders, for example. A key in Riven's Lair or Coily Tree can give you a deep sight, or you can unlock Wishful Weapon Focusing through this one to get your Red Borders faster. So that is it. That is the new activity. That is how you can optimize points to reach that 100k threshold, and that's how I believe you get into the final room with the Riven portal and get showered with lots and lots of balls and other stuff that you may want in the game. Other than that, let me know what you think in the comments. Did I miss anything? Have you gotten the Riven portal with under 100k? Let me know. Maybe even if I got something incorrect, I would always love to just get the correct info for the future. Other than that, if you enjoyed the video or this has helped you, please consider subscribing today and or leaving a like and comment. It does help the channel. It's much appreciated, and it does help that dumb YouTube algorithm. If you don't know what to leave as a comment, simply just leave Coil. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy.